Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Football Manager 2022. This is the Youth Factory series. We're on episode number 2. Just as we get things started on this one, just a reminder, if you saw that first episode, if you haven't, please do go back and take a look at that one. But the algorithm, massively important, especially amongst the first 3 episodes. After that, things kind of settle into a rhythm, and either you're watching the series or you aren't. But for the algorithm to pick it up, it's going to take as many likes and comments as possible. Of course, subscribe as well, but those likes and comments are pivotal to whether a series could be successful. And this is my absolute favorite series to do on the channel. I would love to be able to turn this into a long-term full year project. I've not been able to get enough traction in the first couple of years of running this series. I really like the tweaks that I've made to the rule system to it for this year, that I think this has a ton of potential to go the distance this time around. But again, it needs a little traction. It needs your help with that algorithm, so please do step up and do that now. Let's get on with the series. Now, I've pushed forward a few matches, so we're now 4 matches into the season, and of course, with the worst team ever and everybody on a current ability of 1, yes, of course we are in last place. We have yet to score a goal. Over those last 3 matches, we've lost by 3, 3, and 4 goals to 0, so it has been a struggle. That, though, as bad as that is, that's not horrendous. Once I get my first youth intake, whenever that may come at some point this year, once that youth intake is in place and we bring in some actual players, this could be a faster turnaround. In the past, the English 10th tier, when you're starting on that current ability of 1, you're significantly behind and you're losing 4, 5, 6 every match. We're losing 3 to 4 goals every match. The opposition just isn't at the same level. They're quite low, very, very low. So that is a notable thing, and that means there is a chance, there is an opportunity that this team could get a point. I wouldn't necessarily push them into, say, a winning position, though you never know. But they could get a point somewhere, this current ability 1 squad. So I'm going to keep pushing along and hope, that there's some sort of chance. Well, if there is a chance, it's got to be against one of the other teams that is struggling. And we're far enough into the season that it's quite clear who is struggling and who is not. Fortuna Oslo is definitely not struggling. 4 wins and a draw to start their season. But Sterling, the amateur Oldenburg side, and FC Oslo 2 are squads that are struggling. Sterling, mixed bag. I mean, they're on a -3 goal differential. They've had 3 wins and 4 losses. That's who we're up against next. On the road, which I think makes that a little bit tougher. For one thing, we've played the fewest matches so far. We've only played 4, so that's good that you're all over the place in this league in terms of when your matches are, what days of the week they are. It's very random. It's very random, completely all over the place. Anyway, one of those 3 squads is where we have some chance. So looking at the schedule, we lost that opener, that 1-0 opener. That was FC Oslo 2. That's one of those squads that is a bit worse off. We now have Sterling. Next up is Oldenburg. And then we get Oldenburg again at home. So we have our road matches for all 3 of them to open the season. Then we're going to get to play each of them at home in the later stretches of this season. Now, the Oldenburg one might be too short of a turnaround. I doubt that we're going to have our youth intake by that point, but I have no idea. I do not know when our youth intake is going to be. Calendar wise, if you haven't noticed, our season is running from March through November. We're on a American style calendar. This is not your typical European calendar, which makes sense. We are in Norway, where the winters are a bit too wintry, if you get what I'm saying. FC Oslo 2, July, late July, at home. Sterling, not until September and end of September in the penultimate game. Those are two matches that I look at on the calendar and go, please, oh please, can we find a little development within this squad and maybe get a point, maybe pull a draw, or will we have a youth intake by then and bring that group into the side to see them develop and take over the reins from our current ability ones and start actually pulling things along. Now, of course, through these handful of losses, I have made a little bit of progress with this group in their determination and work rate, because everybody at that 6.4 rating and below, I've been able to discipline and warn and see some progress in about 60 to 70% of those cases. So I'd say roughly 2/3 of the time, we've been able to get a player to issue a warning and then see some sort of progress, see them accept that and increase either their work rate or their determination or both. But because of I'm the only coach and I'm not good quality as a coach yet within this series, it's going to take time to develop that. Because our training facilities are a level 1, and because we have guys that have no determination, that combination of factors, and of course we are a part-time amateur side that only practices a couple times a week, you throw all of those factors together and we're not seeing progress. So it's going to take higher determination. Training ratings have been incredibly low for these players, and then even going out and playing matches senior level against opposition, we're not seeing natural progression. So all of those factors mean this squad across the board still has a current ability of 1. They're still really, really bad. So it's going to take those youth players coming in and doing something. Now, finances is something we need to keep an eye out for too before we jump into this match. I have some money now. We started with no money, but we picked up a month into the series, we picked up a sponsorship, 26,000. Now 26,000 is really pivotal because we have a tiny little stadium. The ground maintenance is nearly 3,000 per month. What that adds up to is about 16 to 17. That's about 32,000 a year. Ground maintenance is costing us about 32,000 a year. So that sponsorship adding 26,000 almost offsets that and keeps us out of some serious financial trouble. We're going to need something to counter that very early on, because at $1 a ticket, we're not bringing in significant funds down at this level. So something's got to change, another sponsorship or just starting to climb that ladder. Otherwise, this team's going to have some financial troubles. And here we go, stepping up against Sterling on the road, heavily unfavored in this one. What can this squad do, though? Again, we're still at that current ability 1, and it is a road match against one of those 3 sides. And of those 3 sides, this seems to be the stronger of the 3. You can see through the first 15 minutes, they've already had a few shots. They've already had a couple on target and make that 5 inside 20 minutes. We've managed a shot ourselves, though, and even though it didn't show a highlight of it, it produced a decent amount of XG. So it seemed a decent chance. Possession, that's one thing that has really, really helped. I think we are quite bad. It's not that this isn't so bad. It may not be that this league is so bad, as I was mentioning, that maybe this isn't kind of on par with the English 10th league, as they do get the breakthrough Vetter with the goal on that one. And so it's happened. They got their breakthrough half an hour in. But anyway, it might not be that the quality isn't there. I have a feeling that maybe it's got something to do with the tactic, because I've been finding through the preseason and through the season so far, we managed to get a good amount of possession. And so other teams are very capable of scoring loads of goals against us. But I'm running a tactic that is good for your possession numbers. That's good for crowding the midfield as we lose Rustin to an injury here, unfortunately. So Alba is going to be coming in, and we approach halftime trailing 1-0. But again, they've had 10 shots, and they're getting them on target, but they're not getting them in the most dangerous of positions. Their XG, I mean, their goal scoring is above their XG right now. But you can see we still have 3/4 of the possession, and I think that has been the difference. That's why we're not losing games 6 goals. We're losing games by 3 goals right now. So into the second half, 2 substitutions still available to us, but of course it really doesn't matter. There's no quality above or below. Tired legs, though, I mean, it can certainly help with that. Doesn't hurt to have fresh legs for that. But you can see right here, the other team, they're not pressing high, which is allowing us to keep possession in our own third. We're not doing anything dangerous with it, but we're keeping it away from the other team a little bit, which is just keeping them away from punishing us, from pounding the misery on. That looked like an offside when that guy came back for that ball, but no call. It looked like the AR was Xbox there for a second. You got the FM22 with the Xbox advertising board along the stand there, and it was just above the head of the AR. So for a second there, it was like the AR's name was Xbox. Anyway, we're already past the hour mark. We're pushing on 70 minutes, and it's still only the 1 goal in it. This is what I was talking about. I want to bring out Christensen Hale as his rating is still 6.4. A, it looks better as a manager when you're swapping guys out that have terrible ratings like that. But B, I think I don't have another striker. Just but Stoikowski. Okay. Yellow card. Draws the foul. 80th minute. Yeah, but being defensive, right, focuses on locking them down, not giving them such good chances. But then it's that possession. I really, really feel at this point that that's what's keeping us in games a little bit deeper. Dele hasn't been too bad as a keeper. He's had one really poor rating match. He's had a couple very nice rated matches. He's played okay as a keeper. But here we are into stoppage time, and it's still 1-0, so I'm really happy. Really happy with this type of result. And again, this leads back to those bottom 3 teams. We've played 2 of them now, and we on the road and lost 1-0. Now, you look at the stats, right? 17-2 on the shot attempts. But the possession and the XG, the 1 goal is exactly what they deserved. Yes, they had 17 shot attempts, but 1.11 XG is all they managed. And even though we only had a couple attempts, we ended up with a 1/4 point on XG. Does that mean we're going to get a goal? Does that mean this team is capable? They haven't scored once this season, not even a consolation goal against a team blowing them out, which we haven't necessarily been blown out. I mean, 4-0 is their worst loss of the year, and they've only done that once. Could be way worse with a team of this lack of quality. You can see our midfield is kind of hanging in there. Sandberg, Papa, and Etholm. That group is giving us decent possession, which is giving them a bit of a rating. We're crowding that midfield to a point where they're able to freely pass the ball around and keep it away from opposition. Our pass completion rate was 95%. So we're not losing the ball very fast. We're just not getting it into a dangerous position, which is why the strikers are having terrible ratings, because they're not even touching the ball. It's easy for me to pick on them. Viengel hasn't had a rating above a 6.4 yet. Every single game I've been able to criticize him and slowly lift up his determination and work rate, and maybe he'll start to actually develop a little bit as a result. I don't think any of these guys are going to end up being the kind of players I can hang on to when our youth development group comes through. They're going to immediately take over from these guys and become the future, and then we're going to, start letting these ones go as we have enough players to do so. But it's a step. It's a step in the right direction. There is a small amount of hope that we could maybe get a point somewhere, somehow. Mostly, I think right now our best chance is a 0-0, a 0-0 draw. That I think that's our best hope of getting a point, is the other team just not being able to create enough. We're not full on parking the bus here, but we're defensive enough to limit the chances, and then possession oriented enough to keep them all away. And an absolute shocker, the team has pulled off its first ever victory on its own, without me at the helm on vacation, using our tactic to perfection, and done so against the best team in the league. The team that has not had a loss all season has just lost to us. Now, looking at this baseline right here, you can see how it happened. 78% possession, 3 shot attempts, and this time only 5 given up, which is why we've somehow held them goalless. XG identical, but we came away with a goal. Our second of the year now, because we have played forward a bit. Adrian Alba with that second goal. Now, they did finish with 10 men, but it was literally in stoppage time where they were desperate for a goal where that happened. This happened second half under regular conditions. And amazingly, we've come away with 3 points. This is how the league looks right now. That was only their 8th match, and you can see they're only 1 point behind. They have the best goal differential. They are clear favorites. And again, that was their very first loss of the year. But it's their second time straight losing points, as they had a draw their last time out as well. They have not played in a month and a half, so they were probably rusty. Guys were not in match condition, and we benefited from it. We are still absolute clear bottom dwellers, as even with that we're on a -18 and well behind comparatively to everybody else in the league. FC Oslo is that chance coming up ahead of us of a team that hasn't fared well. They get a lot of draws, so maybe we can steal a point against them. All right, here we are against FC Oslo 2. This was the team. This was the team that we lost 1-0 at the very beginning of the season on the road. This is that same team that sits in 7th place, just above us in the standings, struggling through the season just like we are. They're bad. They're not our level of bad, but they're bad. In fact, we would close the gap down on them a fair bit if we were able to come away with a result today. Now, expectation-wise, I don't expect that we could actually do that, but somehow this team has survived one of those matches already against the best team in the league and got 3 points. So it could happen. I've seen a tiny bit of development in the squad now. It's late in July, but again, tactically, this is a good tactic for this squad, and it's given us some hope, some element of there's a chance. Here, big opportunity for them, and he kicks it straight at Delhi. Lucky on that. It's already the 24th minute. Penalty on the offense on that one. Maybe through the back. But XG 0.25. That's all they've managed. Only 2 attempts through well over half an hour. And again, like we've seen throughout this season, 75% in the possession. We control the ball really well. We keep it away from the other teams really well. But that is a great through ball, and another excellent save from Delhi. He's had our best rating throughout the season. He's averaging right about a 7.0. Everybody else is well below that mark. But only a few of the guys, are really, really struggling out there. And we get to halftime. It is goalless. Only 1 really poor rating in Viangel, and he gets that every game. I've been trying to turn that into a rapid development of his determination, but he rejects it a little more often than others. Give them a pat on the back for a good first half, and let's see how we do. The other side, wow, numerous changes. 3 changes already, so they have no subs left, seemingly. I haven't tried to go beyond 3 subs. I don't know what the league rules are for substitutions. Fiengel gives that one away. Rustin finally back from his injury after he was out for a while. Oof, Delhi stops that one. Only just, too. I think he reacted really, really late to that ball and nearly gave up a goal on that one. XG now at 0.54. Coming up on that hour mark, and it's still goalless. There is hope yet. Ethom is struggling. Let's see. He's on a yellow card. We really don't want to give up anything. Tavitin has been training extremely well. He's been our best in terms of training. Papa goes close, nearly puts that one in the upper corner. We have had 0 goals from free kicks this season, or from corner kicks, any sort of set piece. Viengel really struggling. Let's go ahead and bring him off for Alba. Alba does have our goal in that game winner. Delhi making another nice stop there. It's the 83rd minute. Instructions. Let's waste some time. Let's waste lots of time. We've got a chance to come away with a point. Looks like they're wasting time too. They're a little nervous about how we're playing. Alba, great interception on that one. And he holds up the ball well. Impressed. 2-6 on the shot attempts. Papa. Both. Oh! Off the cross. It was offside. That was Rustin. Nearly giving us a game winner. But it's 15 seconds from a point. Earned us on merit. I mean, the other team has not been close to scoring here. We kept the ball away from them well enough. This group of losers have come away not losers today. They have played and earned a draw in this one, only allowing 7 attempts, 4 on target, and an XG below 1. They were awfully close to earning a goal, but never necessarily looked like it. We had a little bit of XG. We had some chances. We just didn't convert any of them, but hell yeah. And again, the midfield, Sandberg, Papa, consistently, not every game, have played well, but the defense today, not just the goalkeeper, but the defense on whole, has had a good performance. Viengel, the only one who's going to get criticized. And, by the way, we're coming off of that win. It's been a full month. It's been 5 weeks since we had that win. It's been 5 weeks since we've had a league match. A very, very quiet period here, and we are way behind the rest of the league in terms of matches played. Remember, we have 14 games spread out from March to November. It's a huge spread to have just 14 games. There's not consistent four matches, one round all being played together. It's all over the place on when these matches are. The amateur side for Oldenburg has just 1 match left on the season, but they've got 17 points. We're not going to catch up to them. We have 4 points with 4 matches to go. With a youth intake, you never know what could happen. And I still have no idea when that youth intake is coming. But we've gone through a whole lot of months, right? We've covered a good, I'm trying to think when the play started. Was it January when we took over the team? Early preseason. So if it was January and it's now the end of July, that youth intake could still be just about anywhere. It'll surprise me. I have not had a preview to it yet, but we still have some time till those last couple of matches are coming. However, at 8 points down on FC Oslo, I doubt we're going to get off the bottom of the table this season. And you know what? That's okay. This group has managed to score some points entirely on their own, and this draw in particular was on merit. The good thing for me that means that it shouldn't take much from the intake. It shouldn't take much to suddenly be the dominant side and get out of this 10th division next season. I would think we could probably be favorites next season, but you never know. Fortuna Oslo have been very good, and that was the team that we beat. They've been dominant. They've got fewer matches played, but thanks to that loss to us, right, giving away those 3 points, they should be on 23. They should have a 5-point advantage through just 9 matches played on what seems to be a clear second best side. It is still close at the top. I mean, only 3 points are separating. However, 4 matches separating first to fourth place. That's the big thing you got to kind of keep an eye on there. FC Oslo, only 3 matches left to play themselves. You know, if they don't score anything and we get our intake soon, maybe just maybe we can climb out of the cellar, but we'll see. Either way, this season has gone nowhere near as bad as I expected it to, and that's been good. Now, regardless, I'm going to be pushing forward to whenever that youth intake is, whether that means we're going straight to the end of the season or to the intake itself, but that is where we're going to begin our next episode. So that's it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Do like, comment, please, please, please help that algorithm, because I want to be able to do this one through all 10 divisions and not stop halfway through the series. That's just not something I want to do. I would love to see this thing out to the end. So help me out. Click that like button. Drop a comment below. Let's have a little conversation about what you want to see with this series. Give it a little boost, okay? All right, I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.